One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides onto his ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. The rituals report and paves his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Happy freaking Monday morning. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for hanging out with us this morning. Great to see everybody in the building. Hopefully all is well. We had a crazy update that I had to do right before the stream, so hopefully all the audio settings is correct. I've double checked everything. I've test streamed, but you guys let me know if everything sounds good. Nonetheless, we have, it is the 20th day of the shutdown. As you guys know, it's October 20th of 2025. And we've got some time to go for damn sure. It doesn't look like the government's going to be opening up anytime soon. But nonetheless, the way that we have this titled this morning is Trump meets with Australian Prime Minister today, by the way. I don't think we're going to be able to cover any of that because I think that is happening later. But nonetheless, as you guys know, government shutdown day 20 and Israel and Gaza latest. Of course, we have the latest and more. So we also have some updates regarding, because I haven't talked to you guys since the whole thing with Zelensky. Zelensky last week came over to the United States and had a sit down with Trump, and nonetheless was denied the Tomahawk missiles. Trump came in and said, you know what? No, you ain't getting them. So we're going to be talking about that today a little bit. That's going to be our first story. Trump not sending Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine to fight Russia, and that's a W in my opinion. Then we have Israel accuses Hamas of attacking Israeli forces in Gaza. As you guys know, this did happen. This has happened actually multiple times and has breached the ceasefire officially once, but was pushing the limits twice so far. Now, so far they have had one total violation of the ceasefire, and Israel came in and dusted them motherfuckers in southern Israel down by Rafah. But still, it did happen, and nonetheless, we're going to report on it. And then the ceasefire is still in effect to this day. So people are going to be like, well, is it back to war, blah, blah, blah. No, the ceasefire is still in effect. And we have some more information on Israel resumes Gaza ceasefire. And then President Trump speaks to reporters on Air Force One 3 hours ago. Of course, we're going to want to hear that. Then FBI investigates hunting stand discovered near where Trump exits Air Force One this morning. Very interesting. This comes out 1 hour ago. And then we're going to be ending this, what I have, the lineup of Israeli government comes out briefing amid a Gaza ceasefire. So you're going to hear that nice little pretty woman over there, and she's going to let us know what the fuck is going on. Nonetheless, before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, we have to do our call to actions. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are brand new to the show, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because it's also free. But please consider becoming a member to keep these lights on. We got to do it one way or the other, and you guys make this happen. Considering only $2.99 a month, man, making sure that we stay afloat and on the airwaves. Thank you to everybody becoming members and staying members. This is how we do it, man. So thank you. Little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I'll post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time. It's a great ordeal over there. Make sure you guys follow me. And of course, I will if you direct message me over there, I will direct message you back. Make sure you guys also join up in the Discord server for all of us in the Insane Wheels family. That's where we're all at, like 98% of us. So make sure you guys join up on that. Naomi will throw the link in the chat for you guys. If you guys are watching this on the playback, scroll down into the description box down below of any live video that I do, and it'll have all the invite links and stuff like that. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted membership signups are, of course, going to be presented live onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, well, then we have these platforms right here that you guys can donate to. And of course, I'll read them out loud, present them on to the show, and shout it out just like a super chat would, but it just won't be on the screen. Unfortunately, I'll have to read it out on my phone, but I do have it up and ready to go if you guys want to help out in those regards. All right. Great to see everyone in the building, man. Always appreciate all you legends hanging out with us this morning. We got Rob's neighbor. Yes, sir. Great to see you in the building, as well as Mountain Woman and Frank, STMC Prez. We got Frank, Naomi. We're scrolling down here. Lurk it up with Poncho, my man. Great to see you, by the way, brother Steve Easy. Moto Bomb, great to see my man right there. We got Rabbit of Chaos. Good morning to you. Great to see you. Happy Monday to everybody. Hopefully you don't allow too much of the Monday blues. You know what I mean? I do like Muff Monday. That is cool. I like that. What's up, Anson? Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, man. We got Joseph up there, our favorite snow Mexican. Always appreciate our Canadian friends over there. Joseph saying, good morning, Mr. Ball, Lucy, Breakfast Crew, Bob, and can't forget the haters. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Yes, sir. Great to see you in the chat, man. Always appreciate you. Lick it up with Poncho. Wow, man. Member for 7 months, bro. Wow. That is awesome. Thank you for making it rain in the chat this morning. Lick it up with Poncho. I always appreciate you, kind sir. What's up, Brother Glare, my man? And yes, I know he had to go live exactly when I go live. How come motherfuckers can't just stick to their schedule? You know, I don't know. But yeah, appreciate that. Let's see. We got Gary in here as well. Good morning, kind sir. We got SNS, and hit the like button, y'all. Yes, sir. Great to see you, by the way, SNS. All right, we're gonna get right into it real quick. Last but not least, we got Sterling Wheel. Good morning, kids. If the government remains shut down, why are we paying taxes? That is a fantastic question. Fantastic question. All right, we're going to get right into it. We're going to hear regarding the Tomahawk missiles. Now, of course, after this whole thing regarding with Russia, Ukraine, in particular, Ukraine, we're not going to be giving them any shit. This happened, I believe, on Friday, or, well, this exact thing happened, what we're about to watch, I think happened a day and a half ago. So I think it happened on Saturday. But nonetheless, we have some of the important shit that was missed, of course, since we were doing members only on Saturday. We haven't talked any news shit since Friday.
Stop right now at the battle line. I told that to President Zelensky. I told it to President Putin. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, he said, y'all figure it out together. But he does say that the meeting was very cordial.
I did want to bring you that minute-long statement there from President Trump as he was boarding Air Force One, not taking questions there. But, of course, there was that news conference we brought you earlier on in the day with President Trump and Zelensky.
What's up, Stacks, my man? Happy Monday morning to you. Muff Monday, whatever you want to call it. Great to see you.
And then Zelensky spoke on his own, so we'll bring that to you later on this morning. Again, we are taking a live look at this hour over the White House.
And he's about to bring somebody on to talk about that, but I specifically only wanted to show you guys that in particular, that Trump is not going to be giving Ukraine any Tomahawk missiles, and that's a W in my opinion. All right, so because we don't need to hear some analyst talk about it for 30 minutes, we're going to skip right to the next story, actually. Anyways, this was yesterday, okay? Israel accuses Hamas of attacking Israeli forces in Gaza, which I'm sure you guys did see this. I actually had a few of my friends and brothers that watched the show that actually sent this to me and was letting me know, like, hey, man, the ceasefire just got violated. And I even had some of my friends ask me, do you think this is going to be now a new start to this war or whatever the case is. No, it went right back into a ceasefire. Ceasefire violations happen all the fucking time. They handle it accordingly and then they end it. That's usually what happens. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and figure out what they're reporting.
I also want to bring up a post from the IDF, Israel Defense Forces, as we follow breaking news from overnight again on this international front. Take a look at this. They say earlier today, terrorists fired an anti-tank missile and gunfire toward IDF troops operating to dismantle.
Damn. Earlier today, terrorists fired an anti-tank missile and gunfire towards IDF troops operating to dismantle terrorist infrastructure in the Rafah area in southern Gaza.
Terrorist infrastructure in the Rafah area in southern Gaza, in accordance with the ceasefire agreement. In response, the IDF has begun striking at the area to eliminate the threat and dismantle tunnel shafts and military structures used for terrorist activity. These terrorist actions constitute a blatant violation of the ceasefire.
What's up, Salty Badger? Good morning to you. Great to see you.
And the IDF will respond firmly. Taking us out to this, a live image that we have also over in Jerusalem, in Israel. Coming up at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, we are expecting an update, an Israeli government briefing amid.
Right, but I don't care about their Israeli update there because that's what I followed as well.
The official said the attacks on Israeli forces all took place beyond the line behind which Israel had withdrawn under the terms of agreement, saying, quote, the terror organization Hamas carried out multiple attacks against Israeli forces beyond the yellow line. The attacks included an RPG.
That's very interesting.
Shot at a military force and a sniper fire against a military force. Again, that is what the official told Fox News in a statement, adding, quote,
yes, there is a lot of rogue people that were under Hamas or appreciated Hamas or whatever the case is, and now they're acting as a free agent. You know what I mean? Yes, over there Hamas could be saying one thing, but then the people can be rogue and doing other things, and that's one of the issues. Now, even Hamas came out and said, we never gave any orders to attack the IDF. We never gave any orders to do any of that shit. So these are people that are taking it amongst themselves to do what they think is correct, right? Which it is not.
Both of the incidents happened in an Israeli-controlled area east of the Yellow Line. This is a bold violation of the ceasefire. And this does come as the U.S. State Department saying Saturday that it has...
Oh, no worries, SNS. You don't got to worry about it, bro.
Credible reports that Hamas could violate the ceasefire with an attack on Palestinian civilians in Gaza. If that attack takes place, it would constitute that direct and grave violation of the agreement forged by President Trump to end the 2-year war between Israel and Hamas, according to that statement from the State Department. No further details about that potential attack, but I want to bring us back out to that post on X from the IDF, the Israel Defense Forces. And again, they say this, that earlier...
What's up, Extra Surprise?
Today, terrorists fired an anti-tank missile and...
Yes, we already heard you read that. You don't need to read it again. So we're going to skip now into Israel resumes Gaza ceasefire. And this came out 4 hours ago, okay? So this is not like yesterday's news now. And this is what I called. I called it yesterday. I hadn't actually seen where they said, yes, this is going to be officially, back to a ceasefire, but I knew that was the case. I've seen this happen multiple times, happen with Hezbollah multiple times. I've seen it. So I was like, nah, this is going to go right back into a ceasefire after they fuck them up a little bit. And they did. And I believe they unalived or killed, 18, 19 people or something like that. Anyways, now we have the update this morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you all
for joining us
here at Live Now from Fox
here we go.
On this Monday, October 20th. We are taking a live look here at the White House over in Washington, D.C. as we continue to monitor all of your top stories throughout this week and everything that happened throughout the weekend. My name is Corella Hara, and I'll be with you throughout the next several hours, again, showcasing all of those live images and live
3D
events
joint.
from
That's right.
around the world. And at this time, we do want to focus the latest on the developments in the Middle East. Taking a look here at these images that we're getting out of Gaza at this time. Take a look at that. A lot of smoke out there in the distance. Not entirely sure what that's.
Steve Posey, shit. Great to see you, by the way. And you don't got to worry about it. I always just appreciate when you guys can make it, man. I feel honored that you guys, go out of your way or whatever the case is to watch a show. I'm very honored by that.
Smoke is at this time. But the Associated Press recently reporting that Gaza's fragile ceasefire facing its first major test on Sunday as Israeli forces launched a wave of deadly strikes, saying Hamas militants had killed 2 soldiers, and an Israeli security official said the transfer of aid into the territory was halted.
Yeah, that's so funny, bro. That is way too funny.
Military later saying that it resumed enforcing the ceasefire, and the official confirmed that aid deliveries would resume today, on Monday. The official spoke on condition of anonymity to the Associated Press because he was not authorized to discuss the issue in the media. Joining us now to continue this conversation even further is Jonathan Karinkas. He is a senior fellow with the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. And Jonathan, we appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me on, and good morning.
Good morning to you.
Now, I think I've seen this guy speak once or twice before. I really don't know much of his background. I really don't care to hear these people's takes, to be quite fucking honest, but we're going to hear them out a little bit here. There is some breaking news of Benjamin Netanyahu tweeting on X or whatever the case is. So we are going to stick for this and see what the IDF is saying, all of this. Well.
So you can offer us a unique perspective on this entire issue because you are actually based in Israel right now. Given the fact...
Yeah, so are a lot of motherfuckers.
...that the ceasefire was first established a couple of weeks ago, what are you hearing on the ground? What is the sentiment like at this time?
Yes, so the situation on the ground is that currently it's relatively stable.
Brother Straightjacket, this guy that said on the ground it's relatively stable. It don't look fucking stable over here. I can tell you. Maybe on the Israeli side. The Israeli side might be a little stable, but on the other side, I don't think so. Real quick, we got Bob over there from Biker News Canada on the Facebook side of things. Always appreciate hanging out with you, man. Always appreciate you as well. We got Straightjacket, my man. Yes, sir. Great to see you. Good morning. Good morning.
It appears
Happy Monday.
That both sides, Israel and Hamas,
have
been told by President Trump and his team to get on with it and to get back to the ceasefire, despite the fact that Hamas is violating it repeatedly. And Israel yesterday responded also by using force in self-defense.
Yes.
What we've had over the last
that did happen.
Few days, just to recap briefly for our viewers, is that the major event was the return of 20 live Israeli hostages. They were returned to their families. That's a massive milestone, and that is the biggest part of phase one. Now,
wow, Anson went all out. That's a W comment, by the way. Yes, make sure you guys hit the like button. Let's get the likes up. Steve Posey's calling you guys out. He's calling you guys some slackers over here. Make sure you guys hit that like button. I thank you guys for that.
Second part of phase one, which has not yet been completed, is that Hamas are supposed to hand over all of the bodies of the hostages that they took 2 years ago on October 7 and murdered in captivity. So far...
Yeah, but even someone like me who is strict on the whole reason why this whole thing should have been going down. The whole motive for this whole war should have been for the hostages and for the life of the hostages. Now, unfortunately, they were used as political pawns on both sides of the equation, no doubt. But it's a damn shame. But even someone like me, I can understand, hey, these motherfuckers might have been dead for a year or plus, or maybe more. And good luck fucking finding them. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, they don't know. They don't know. You know what I mean? So even someone like me can understand it. As long as we got the live. And, of course, as much as you can to find those remains, of course, they need to be given back. Of course. But I legitimately believe that they are actually lost. Or have been blown up in the midst of all this fucking... airstrikes, bombings, all this shit, right? So, I don't know, man. It's going to be hard to recover every single body, man.
Israel has received less than half of the 28 bodies that we know Hamas is keeping. And that's a major violation of the agreement. And in Israel, we understand, and I think the Americans see it the same way, that Hamas is intentionally dragging its feet. And in Israel, the perspective is that as long as phase one isn't implemented, then there's no reason to go...
Mountain Woman, it's because he's on the Facebook side. So I get to see two different chats at the same time. I get to see YouTube chat and Facebook chat. And he's right now on the Facebook side.
Over and transition to phase two, because phase one should happen first and should be completed in its entirety and successfully.
I want to put up a post here from the Israel Defense Forces.
Christopher Collins, roll tide, baby. I get it. But listen, we got Alabama's finest in the building. Shout out to my man.
We are taking a live look out here in Khan Yunis in Gaza. But this is what the Israel Defense Forces said on X. In accordance with the directive of the political echelon and following a series of significant strikes in response to Hamas's violations, the IDF has begun the renewed enforcement of the ceasefire in line with the terms of the agreement. The IDF...
So this right here, the IDF is showing you right here that we are back into enforcement of ceasefire.
Will continue to uphold the ceasefire agreement and will respond firmly to any violation of it.
Right. So honestly, it would behoove the Palestinians that are acting roguely, because it's not Hamas that's actually doing it. It's people that, because Hamas has actually agreed to all this shit, and they still agree to it even with all this shit going down. It's just unfortunate these rogue people, you can't control everyone's actions, you know what I mean? And they are ruining it for others.
Jonathan, what are some of the challenges that the IDF...
It behooved them, though, to fucking go through with this and not try to fuck up the other side right now. It's not going to work very well.
Facing right now, even with this ceasefire in place, to be able to get control of the situation.
Brother TVT in the building. Shout out to my man. Good morning to you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning up there in Canada.
And as you mentioned, to make sure that the bodies of the remaining hostages who are deceased are returned.
Yes, what's happening on the ground and what has been happening in the last week or so is that...
Can you get some decent fucking internet, Jonathan? Jesus Christ, I'm not going to listen to that bullshit. But look at all this traffic that people, over there in Gaza. I don't know exactly where this is. I can't tell if this is like Rafah or wherever it is. But nonetheless, so Gaza ceasefire resumes. Aid deliveries restart today because they did shut it down. I believe they shut down aid for a day and a half. Day and a half, I think. But now deliveries are set to restart today, which is good news. Let's see. Benjamin Netanyahu comes out and says, on behalf of the entire people of Israel, my wife and I send our heartfelt condolences to the families of the Nahal Brigade soldiers, and I can't read that, staff sergeant of blessed memory who fell in the difficult incident in Rafah. That's terrible.
Condolences to the families of the Nahal Brigade soldiers, Maj, Yaniv Kula, and Staff Sergeant.
Wow, we got Miss Lotus in the chat, by the way. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning as well. Great to see you.
Vets of blessed memory who fell in the difficult incident in Rafah. Jonathan, going back to that aid.
Here, real quick, since I do have Naomi throwing it in the chat, might as well just get the money part over, right? Here in the very beginning of this clip, we're gonna talk about the money part.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Shit. All right, now we're good. Feels ultra good to be a G.
Denied.
All right, back into this.
Going into Gaza right now, what do we know about the organizations that are going to help facilitate that? And what do we know about the amount of aid and what's actually going to be going in to that area?
Yeah, so there's massive aid coming in, hundreds of trucks. I think we will see around 400 trucks if everything goes according to plan. So more than 400 truckloads of aid, food, medicine, some clothing, some shelter, but the majority of the items.
We got SST, my man. Always appreciate having you in here, by the way. About the poll in chat, when was the last time government employees ever cared about private sector employees' jobs and paychecks? Oh, wait. And yes, that's very, very true, SST. That's a very, very valid point. Absolutely. Great to see you in the chat, by the way.
Be bulk food and medicine. Water is being provided from Israel and from Egypt with various pipelines that are open and running and providing fresh.
And yes, join the Discord, everybody. Naomi just threw it in the chat. I wouldn't have interrupted, but it's important that it's right there in front of your faces right now. Click it. Join up, download the app. It takes 2 seconds if you're on phone or whatever. Not a big deal. And yeah, hang out with us. That's where all of us are in.
Drinking water for people. But one organization that is making a lot of noise, but very little contribution on the ground is UNRWA. UNRWA, the UN Relief and Work Agency, which up until October 7 was really a partner of Hamas and has been really important for Hamas to continue to stay in power. They are now lobbying hard around the world in Washington and in international media to be included in the day after in Gaza, and they're claiming wrongfully that they are important in distributing the aid, and that is not true. What's happening on
that is definitely not true. They just want people to lie for the benefit of them.
The ground is that there's various other UN organizations and also the Gaza Humanitarian Fund, an American NGO that is distributing food in the southern part of Gaza. So there's lots of various UN organizations and non-UN organizations that are distributing food.
Yeah, and it's not Hamas doing it. Hamas has only ever stolen it. So it's funny that they want the rest of the world to lie on that.
And other supplies to Gazans. UNRWA is trying to become relevant again. My advice would be, if we want to see a different Gaza in the future, a de-radicalized Gaza, a Gaza that is, more prosperity-oriented and perhaps civil rights-oriented, UNRWA, just like Hamas.
It is a conflict of interest. I do agree with that, Steve Easy. And yes, it would be, of course, normal for them to absolutely be biased to their own country. I get it. Let's see. We'll all be treated like Palestinians going forward. Shit. All right. So, guys, we're going to be finished up with that. Let's go ahead and get into the next ordeal here with Trump. Trump spoke out this morning right before he landed on Air Force One. So this happened 3 hours ago. President Trump speaks to reporters on Air Force One. Definitely want to hear what he's got to say this morning.
Okay. We had a good weekend. We accomplished a lot.
Terrible audio.
I think really a very lot. You probably just saw the piece on Steve and Jared. It was very good. 60 minutes. Any questions? Do you want to give me a little room here, Jeff?
Of course. Just following up on the 60 Minutes story, what's your reaction to Israel strikes on Gaza today?
Well, we're going to have to see what's happening. We want to make sure that it's going to be very peaceful with Hamas. And as you know, they've been quite rambunctious. They've been doing some shooting, and we think maybe the leadership isn't involved in that. Some rebels within. But either way, it's going to be handled properly. It's going to be handled toughly, but properly.
Is the ceasefire still in place?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I did catch that now. I mean, he's like, can you give me a little room, dude? You know what I mean? I love how he's just straight up blunt with everything.
On Colombia, Senator Graham, the country of Colombia, Senator Graham tweeted that you would be imposing tariffs on the country either today or tomorrow. Can you give any details as to how much those tariffs might be?
Well, I read the statement of Senator Graham, and it's correct, yeah. I was with him today. We were working today, and I read his statement, and it's correct, yes.
But how much is the tariff rate? Do you have
I'll let you know tomorrow. Yeah, I'll let you know tomorrow.
Tomorrow? It will be announced?
Yeah.
And Jay Jones has repeatedly said that if he wins in Virginia, that he can. Jay Jones in Virginia has
Jay
said.
Jones, you mean the one that wanted to kill somebody's children and kill somebody? You mean the animal that wanted to kill somebody? Who should not be allowed to be running for that office?
Yeah, he said he can't wait to see you in court. I'm wondering if you have a response and if you're considering getting involved in that race.
Well, what is he saying?
He said in the debate on Thursday night that he can't wait to sue your administration and see you in court.
No, he's a third-rate intellect. He's a guy who I've never seen anybody say what he said. That he wanted to kill his opponent's children, he wanted to kill his opponent. No, I can't imagine anybody voting for Jay Jones. Look, you would think he's totally discredited. I would think he wouldn't even be allowed to do that. Anybody would be put in prison for what he said.
Damn. I didn't even know about that comment. I'm going to have to investigate. Real quick, we got Gunpowder Nitro saying, what's good, y'all? Hey, hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far. I definitely know that we are. We got Tiffany as well, saying about to head to help Lee's brothers finish moving. Oh, shit, man, that's rough. Yeah, that's definitely rough. But good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Hopefully you don't overwork yourself. That shit sucks.
So he can join the long list of attorney generals that have been suing and losing. But the people of this country want law. They want order. They want safety. They don't want to be mugged or raped or shot. And that's what we provide. We have tremendous numbers also. You see the crime numbers are coming way down. Way down. Then you take a look at a place like Washington, D.C., which is now one of the safest cities in the country. It's one of the worst cities, most dangerous cities. We moved out 1,700 career criminals and people that came here through Biden and his open border policy. And Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities. And Memphis is doing fantastically also. We went in there a week ago. And there's a bumpy flight. I better say that, otherwise they'll say, what's wrong with the president? There's a bumpy flight. But Memphis is doing really well. I think that Chicago will do very well.
The camera's having a little struggle of holding it straight right now.
Well, we're going to go into San Francisco at some point in the not-too-distant future, make that a great city again. It can only be a great city if it doesn't have crime. If it has crime, it can't be a great city.
Question on Colombia. Are you concerned that if aid is cut to Colombia, that would undermine Colombia's fight against drugs on U.S. aid?
They don't have a fight against drugs. They make drugs. They refine drugs. They make cocaine. They have cocaine factories. They have no fight against drugs. And I'm stopping all payments to Colombia because they don't have anything to do with their fight against drugs. And in fact, even when they had better presidents than they have right now, that's how they're making a lot of money, drugs. I used to complain about it when they had a very nice president, but he wasn't doing it. It was all talk. They are a drug manufacturing machine, Colombia. And we're not going to be part of it. So we're going to drop all money that we're giving to them. It has nothing to do with them stopping drug production. And you look at the fields are loaded up with drugs, and they refine the drugs, and they make tremendous amounts of cocaine. and they send it all over the world, and they destroy families. No, Colombia is out of control, and now they have the worst president they've ever had.
Man, that is a W. We got, well, now 26, but 23 likes. We matched it up there for a second. Make sure you guys hit that like button, and that is a W. Thank you, guys.
He's a lunatic who's got a lot of problems, mental problems.
One more question on Colombia. The Colombian president says that U.S. killed a innocent Colombian fisherman in one of the strikes.
He said that when we shot down a submarine, that they were just fishing. This is a submarine. This was a submarine that was meant, by the way, this was a submarine that was meant for one reason and made for one reason, to carry massive amounts of drugs. Yeah, go ahead.
No, but that's not the right strike that he's talking about. He's talking about previous strike.
Mr. President, on the shutdown, do you want to see the premium tax credits extended if the Democrats vote to reopen the government?
Let me just tell you that there'll be no money given toward their crazy escalation of giving money to illegal aliens that came into the country totally illegally. I mean, they came in illegally. They want to spend 1.5 trillion, with a T, $trillion, giving it to people that came into the country illegally. They shouldn't have come in. In fact, one of the reasons they came in was to get this money.
Yes, exactly. That was the exact point I was about to say. I was like, well, that's the incentive for them to be here, you know, and to continue basically enabling this illegal behavior.
California is a big culprit. I mean, California, they're out of control. And we're not going to pay California all of that money that they're giving away illegally. That's another thing. Between California and Colombia, there's not that much difference. We're not going to be making those payments.
Just a follow-up to that, sorry. A July survey
Who are you
by
with, please?
the Washington Post. A July survey by your pollster, Tony Fabrizio, found that 72% of voters across political parties like the ACA tax credits. Are you worried that you might get blamed if you don't help get those through?
Well, we want to have great health care, so we'll do whatever we can do to have great health care. But the Democrats want to destroy all health care because they want to give $1.5 trillion of this money, and they want additional money to go to people that came into our country illegally. Many of them are from prisons and mental institutions. And
I agree with that, Miss Lotus.
We're not going to destroy our health care for the Democrats.
Mr. President, there were reports, and you even mentioned that in a recent phone call with Prime Minister Modi, and that Modi.
There we go, SST. Now we're talking. Absolutely, 100% stop all foreign aid. Fuck it.
Stop purchases of Russian oil, but India said that they were not aware.
Well, then they're going to just keep paying a lot of tariffs. If they said that, but I don't believe they said that. No, I spoke with.
What's up, Papa Penguin? Good morning and great to see you in the chat, bro.
Prime Minister Modi of India, and he said he's not going to be doing the Russian oil thing, so that's it.
Well, why would India say that they're not going to?
I don't know, but if they want to say that, then they'll just continue to pay massive tariffs, and they don't want to do that.
Following up on Friday, you said you had a cordial meeting with President Zelensky. During that meeting, did you tell him he needed to cede all of the Donbass region to Russia?
No, we never discussed it. We think that what they should do is just stop at the...
No. Zelensky made it clear. His whole point of the trip that he just made to visit with and have a meeting with Trump was to try to obtain and secure, meaning not obtain, secure a deal for Tomahawk missiles from the United States. That was the entire premise of that whole why Zelensky came. Okay? He was trying to convince President Trump to do it, and Trump said, fuck off. We ain't giving you no Tomahawks.
Lines where they are, the battle lines. You have a battle line right now. The rest is very tough to negotiate. If you're going to say, you take this, we take that, there's so many different permutations. So what I say is they should stop right now at the battle lines. Go home, stop killing people, and be done.
What do you think should happen with the Donbass region?
Let it be cut the way it is. It's cut up right now. I think 78% of the land is already taken by Russia. You leave it the way it is right now. They can negotiate something later on down the line. But I said, cut and stop at the battle line. Go home, stop fighting, stop killing people.
What do you think of Mandami's photo with the 93 World Trade Center bombing?
It's a shame.
He is creepy.
Look, the Mandami thing is
they all are.
It's a disaster waiting to happen. We can't have a communist in charge of a great, supposedly free enterprise, kind of a representative city. So I think if you have a communist mayor, I think it's going to be very tough for him and for the city.
Do you think he should have posted something like this so close to the election?
Oh, I think it's a shame that...
For people that are just tuning in, by the way, make sure you guys hit that like button. This is from this morning as of only 3 hours ago, just so you guys have an idea.
That particular man is endorsing him and very friendly with him. You can see there's a relationship. He blew up the World Trade Center, right? Didn't the man you're talking about blow up the World Trade Center? And he's friends with Mandami?
Mr. President, sitting with New York City, you've talked about the Hudson River Tunnel, the infrastructure project. You said that the funding has been terminated, but, folks in New York have said that it's not terminated.
Oh, shit, man. You got to let Brother Red let him know that hopefully everything is going well for him. Would love for him to pull up in the chat anytime. It'd be great, but definitely let him know that we all all love him, respect him.
Where does that
Well, as of
stand?
now, it's terminated, and that's up to me. And as of now, it's terminated, and it's terminated because the Democrats are so foolish what they've done to the country. I mean, we have the hottest country in the world. There's no country even close, and they just want to do this. You know, there's nothing for them to do. All they have to do is just say, let everything continue. And I will say a lot of Democrats want this to get over.
So the administration right now is not sending funding.
Right now, there is no funding because it's up to me.
What is your response to the protest?
Who are you with?
That was pretty pimp. And then he said, who you with? Like in the middle of him speaking right there to a different reporter. He's like in the middle of speaking. He's like, he just cut him off. Who you with? You know, shit. I want to hear what he just said there again, though.
Everything continue. And I will say a lot of Democrats want this to get over.
So the administration right now is not sending funding.
Right now, there is no funding because it's up to me.
It's up to me.
Who are you with?
I'm with AP.
With AP?
What's your response to the protest over the weekend, the No Kings protests?
I think it's a joke. I looked at the people. They're not representative of this country. And I looked at all
Talking about the No Kings protest.
the brand new signs paid for, I guess it was paid for by Soros and other radical left lunatics.
Of course, all of them are. What are you talking about?
It looks like it
They're all
was.
funded.
We're checking it out. The demonstrations were very small, very ineffective, and the people were whacked out. When you look at those people, those are not representative of the people of our country.
Oh, yeah. I had a friend spend the night here, so we had to move it. But look, I have it right here. You ain't got to worry about it. There. Now it's good.
Mr. President, besides San Francisco,
I'm not a king. I'm not a king. I work my ass off to make our country great. That's all it is. I'm not a king at all.
besides San Francisco, are there other cities you're actively looking at for the National Guard right now?
Yeah. What about it?
I'm just wondering if you care to comment on that.
Well, we've used the National Guard to be very successful in Memphis. You can see the numbers are falling like rocks. Washington, D.C., Chicago is getting better, even though we're going through a lot. And, you know, we're trying to do it in a very nice way. I'm allowed, as you know, as president, like 50% of the presidents have used the Insurrection Act. They can use that, and everybody agrees you're allowed to use that, and there's no more court cases, there's no more anything. We're trying to do it in a nicer manner.
Shit, what's up, Brother 13? Good morning to you. Happy Monday. Always appreciate having you in the chat, bro.
But we can always use the Insurrection Act if we want. I mean, you take a look in the past, one in
Jason
particular
Ghost,
president
good morning.
used it 28 times during the course of a presidency. So we're allowed to do that. We thought we could do it in a very nice way. All we want to do is have safe cities.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting any of it to happen across small towns, but it did happen across small towns across all of America. Absolutely. But the King's protests and podunk towns, yeah, that's so funny, bro. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that shit either.
Looking for anything that would be spectacular other than crime-free become spectacular. We want to have great crime-free cities. So I'd be allowed to use, if I wanted, the Insurrection Act, and then all of this nonsense would go away. You have the absolute right. It's the strongest power a president has, and you have the absolute right to do it. We wanted to go this route, but we get sued every time you look at somebody. You look at somebody the wrong way, and you end up getting sued. We just want no crime. We want to have crime-free cities. That's not a big, I mean, it's pretty common sense, I think, but that's all I want is crime-free cities. I campaigned on it. It's become, I think, even more successful than we thought because of the tremendous success that we had literally in 12 days in Washington, D.C., and it continues. But Washington.
Yeah, I mean, he's able to use that as proof of concept now that he did it to Washington, D.C., meaning. And by the way, real quick, we got a Cash App. Brother Lee Lance coming in for the $5 saying, yes, sir. I very much appreciate you, kind sir. Thank you for that.
In D.C., we're so proud of it. People are eating in their restaurants. Restaurants are opening. All the stores and restaurants were closing. You couldn't walk down the street without being mugged or worse. And now it's a safe city. I mean, it's considered a very safe city. And it's safe because we took 1,700 people.
Hell yeah, make sure you drive safe there, Brother 13.
Out of there and brought them back to where they came from. Yeah.
You said you're going to South Korea and potentially meet with China.
I am. That's right.
Can you tell us more about your goals for your trip to Asia? Where else you may be going?
I have a very good relationship with President Xi of China. We're having disputes on things. They're paying us a lot of money, tremendous amount of money in tariffs, and they'd probably like to have it be less, and we'll work on that, but they have to give us some things too. Right now, China's paying a tremendous amount of money in tariffs, like they've never paid before. You know, they paid a lot during my first administration, my first term. Now they're paying an unbelievable amount of money to the United States. They probably can't pay that much, and I'm okay with that. We can lower that, but they have to do things for us too. It's no longer a one-way street.
Yeah. What would you lower it to, do you think?
Depends. I mean, we'll have to see what they want. One of the penalties we have, and because they're sending in fentanyl, we have a 20% as you know, a 20% tariff on that. But they'd be paying about 157% tariff, which is, record-setting.
Well, and that's the whole thing, Steve Posey. The funding for something like the No Kings protest is humongous. It's hilarious when people decline that, this isn't being funded. No, it absolutely is.
Type tariff. I don't want them to do that. I want to help China.
I agree, Ms. Lotus.
But they have to give us things too.
Sitting with China, Mr. President, on soybeans, are you confident that you'll be able to get it?
I want them to buy soybeans. One of the things I want is China's going to buy soybeans. I want China to stop with the fentanyl. Very, normal things. I don't want them to play the rare earth game with us.
Do you want them to, but do you think they will make a deal on soybeans?
I do believe, because otherwise I'm not going to make a deal. No, I want them to buy. Our farmers have been boycotted by China as a negotiating point. I don't want that. Our farmers are great, and in particular our soybean farmers, and I want them to start buying soybeans at least in the amount that they were buying before. And I believe they'll be able to do that.
Sticking with soybeans, and on Argentina, you're looking to do that deal with Argentina, the bail swap. So,
restricted beef.
Are we expecting a beef deal?
I assume you're talking about beef, yeah. To get beef prices down. The only price we have that's high is beef, and we'll get that down. And one of the things we're thinking about doing is beef from Argentina.
But my question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, they are
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can. But don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying. All right? They're dying.
What do you mean by a beef deal, sir?
We would buy some.
Maybe to an extent, Chasing Ghost, but I don't think that it's people that are on the right that are, like anybody that voted for him. I truly don't think that those are the people that were showing up to the No Kings protest like that and actually participating. I believe, just like in any place, no matter what, you're not going to have 100% unity of like everyone here voted Trump. No, you're going to have a small amount of people throughout all towns, cities, all this shit that are liberal and are on that side, do think this way, and have been upset that Trump has been in office, stuff like that. The people that voted for Trump didn't show up to No Kings protest to be a part of the protest. Anybody that showed up that was a Trump voter most likely was someone that wanted to cover it and like see what the craziness was or whatever the case is, right? But anyways.
Beef from Argentina. If we do that, that will bring our beef prices down. Because our groceries are down, our energy prices are down. I think we're going to have $2 gasoline pretty soon. We're getting close. And everything's down. The one thing that's kept up is beef. And if we buy some beef, now I'm not talking about that much from Argentina, it would help Argentina, which we consider a very good country, a very good ally in a place. Although I must tell you, if you take a look now, South America is turning. Those South American countries are starting to turn very much toward us. They're getting away from socialism, and you can go right down the pack. But they are starting to turn. It's pretty amazing.
May I ask you about Israel again? Do you feel that Israel was justified with striking when it did?
Striking where?
In Gaza, today and overnight.
I'd have to get back.
Yeah, that's right, because it's guaranteed pay at the end of the day anyways. Whether they go out with it without a check for a month or two, doesn't matter. Everyone's going to get fucking paid. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'd have to get back.
What is the next step?
Because we're going to be determined. All of that's is under consideration right now. It's under review.
On Harvard.
Who are you with?
I'm with the Washington Post.
That's right.
On Harvard, you said
What's up, wild card? Good morning.
But we haven't heard anything. What's the holdup?
Well, we reached a concept of a deal, but it's pretty complicated because under this deal would be $500 million. They're going to open up trade schools, and I love the idea of trade and trade schools by Harvard. So, they get into like a vocational type school. And the one problem with it, it's very complicated. When do they start? How do they start?
Yes, with the exception of the big, beautiful bill. Right, Papa?
Who do they use? There's 1,000 different things. And we may just charge them a fine, big fine, $500 million fine. And they won't do it again. And if they do, we'll have to just charge them another fine.
You haven't weighed in on the Virginia gubernatorial race. That's in a few weeks. Do you plan to endorse with the lieutenant governor?
I think the Republican candidate is very good, and I think she should win because the Democrat candidate's a disaster. So,
what's up, Outlaw Preacher? Good morning to you. Great to see you.
I haven't been too much involved in Virginia. I love the state. I did very well in the state. But I will tell you, I think the Republican candidate is excellent, and I think the Democrat candidate is a disaster. I mean, I watched her in the debate. She couldn't answer the most basic question. And, a big thing with that race and also the race in New Jersey is going to be energy. Both of the Democrats are going to drive the energy prices through the roof. Through the roof. Your energy is going to double and triple.
100,000%, Papa Penguin. Yep.
Republican gets elected, your energy is going to be coming down by 70, 80%. Thank you very much, everybody. Vote Republican.
And then he said, vote Republican. Oh, geez. He shouldn't have said that. I don't think he should have said that. We're going to move into the next story here. FBI investigates hunting stand discovered where near Trump exits off of Air Force One this morning at just an hour ago, basically right when we started the show. We're going to bring this up and see what's happening here.
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox as we are following some developing news here. Courtesy of Fox News, take a look at this. A post here on your screen from Fox News on X. They say this, breaking, the U.S. Secret Service uncovered a suspicious hunting stand with a direct line of sight to where President Trump exits Air Force One at the Palm Beach International Airport. Officials tell Fox News Digital. Now, remember that President Trump was in Palm Beach over the weekend. In fact, we played out.
So look, it's up in a tree. It's like a literal like spot for someone to hunt like animals or people with. That is freaky.
Some of those comments as he answered questions from reporters aboard Air Force One. That was right before the commercial break when we aired that. But going back to some more courtesy of Fox News, who is following this story very closely and also bringing us this live image that we
make sure you guys hit the like button. Let's get the likes up, please. I really appreciate that.
Here at the White House in Washington, D.C. Fox News Digital saying this, the U.S. Secret Service uncovered a suspicious hunting stand with a direct line of sight to where President Donald Trump exits Air Force One at the Palm Beach International Airport. Agents found the stand on Thursday, and the FBI is now leading an investigation into the discovery. FBI Director Kash Patel said the hunting stand has not yet been connected to any individual. Now, Director Patel told Fox News Digital, quote, prior to the president's return to West Palm Beach.
You know what? It is a good time to do that, Naomi. Good thinking. Good thinking.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Perfect. All right. Well done, everybody.
U.S. Secret Service discovered what appeared to be an elevated hunting stand within sight line of Air Force One landing zone. He went on to say no individuals were located at the scene. The FBI has since taken the investigatory lead, flying in resources to collect all evidence from the scene.
Yep. And Steve, one thing that I speculate on is I believe truly people go in with, some people go in with really good intentions, but then realize, like even someone like me who is absolutely America only ideology, right? Stepping into a position like a presidency, these are guaranteed things that are signed and sealed already. Like all these deals have been made previously, previous handshakes, because these deals don't just last as long as a president does. You know what I mean? Like it's not just to this person and how he wants to do this shit. It is a set way that is already happening. You can't change much about it. And then Trump's someone, I truly believe he does want to change it a lot, but he can't. He absolutely can't. And that's kind of one of the unfortunate parts about our presidency of just in general, you know, that you can't change to an extreme amount on a geopolitical level. You can only really do a lot of internal changes, but external is very, very hard.
Our cell phone analytics capabilities. U.S. Secret Service Chief of Communications also confirming that the organization is working closely with the FBI as well as law enforcement in Palm Beach County. The chief there said that agents discovered the hunting stand during their advanced security preparations prior to President Trump's arrival in Palm Beach, telling Fox News, quote, there was no impact to any movements and no individuals were present or involved at the location. He added that while they are not able to provide details about the specific items or their intent, this incident underscores the importance of our layered security measures. A law enforcement source told Fox News Digital that the stand appeared to have been set up months ago. The investigation comes weeks after Ryan Ruth was found guilty of attempting to assassinate President Trump on a Palm Beach golf course from a sniper's nest he set up in bushes along a fence line. Ruth, who is 59 years old, was charged on 5 federal
Jesus?
counts,
Good morning.
including attempting to assassinate a major presidential candidate, assaulting a federal officer, and multiple firearms offenses. That alleged attempt came after a separate attempt where the president, back when he was campaigning.
And we got Carney's right up in the building. Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning as well. Very interesting that they found some hunting stand discovered over there where he landed. Definitely interesting. We're going to move in to the last story here. Israeli government briefing amid ceasefire. So we get to see that pretty lady over there, the pretty small hat lady. Let me make sure that that is our very last update that we have. Oh, no, we actually do have Johnson slams Democrats amid shutdown. So we will see that after this. So I lied. This is not. Well, actually, that's the wrong nomenclature. I didn't lie. I was mistaken. Okay, I was mistaken. All right, we're going to see this real quick and see what is being said.
Good afternoon, everyone. Shalom. I'm Shosh Bedrosian, spokeswoman for the National Public Diplomacy Directorate here in the Prime Minister's office. I'm going to take a few questions after a couple of very brief points to share with you. Just make sure you put your questions in the chat of the Zoom with your name and your outlet. Today, it's Monday, October 20th, and today is day 745 since Hamas kidnapped our people and have continued to hold them inside of the Gaza Strip. We open today with deep sorrow, bearing the weight of the most painful news, the loss of our courageous soldiers. Since the war began, 918 IDF heroes have fallen. These are not statistics. These are not faceless people. Each one was a life filled with a promise, a future stolen, a world unto themselves. Major Yaniv Kula was just 26 years old and from Modi'in. He fell in battle in southern Gaza. He was laid to rest this morning in Jerusalem. Also, Staff Sergeant Itai Yavetz was just 21 years old and also from Modi'in. He too fell in battle yesterday in the same incident in the southern part of Gaza. He will be laid to rest this afternoon in Modi'in. The Prime Minister spoke for the nation when he sent heartfelt condolences to the families of Yaniv and Itai. He also sent wishes for a speedy recovery to our wounded in that attack and breach of the ceasefire. The Prime Minister...
And also, let's not forget the 18 or 19, I forget exactly what number it was. I think it was 18 people that lost their lives in Gaza amid those strikes.
Said that Yaniv and Itai fought courageously against the Hamas murderers to protect the security of Israel. Their bravery and heroism will be cherished in our hearts forever. May their memory be a blessing. Let me share some details of this Hamas attack you've probably heard about. On Sunday, around 2:30 p.m. Israel time, the IDF announced terrorists fired an anti-tank missile and gunfire towards our troops who were operating to dismantle terrorist infrastructure in the Rafah area, which is all in accordance with the ceasefire agreement. In response to that, the IDF started striking in the Rafah area to eliminate the threat and to dismantle tunnel shafts and military structures for terrorist activities. The blatant violation of the ceasefire agreement led the IDF to respond firmly. Following the violation, the Prime Minister held consultations with the Defense Minister and heads of the security establishment, directing them to take strong action against terrorist targets inside of Gaza. Now, after days of executing their own people and our soldiers who should have never been killed during a ceasefire, were dragged into the terrorist barbaric and irresponsible actions, which are the biggest threat to the Israeli and the Palestinian people. After this deadly incident involving our soldiers, we committed to responding forcefully against the brutal rule and thwart Hamas's weakening grip inside of Gaza. Now, around 6 p.m. on Sunday, Israel time, the IDF began a series of strikes against Hamas terror targets inside of southern Gaza. It led to the striking and dismantling of 6 kilometers of underground terrorist infrastructure, which was used by Hamas to advance attacks against the state of Israel. Not only were our soldiers killed in this incident in Rafah, dozens of incidents have been documented by...
And Hamas has denied that there has been any of that their dealings. They said that they, their people need to do this or their army instructed any of that shit. So just a little context that there are going to be a lot of people that are not pleased in Palestine with this agreement and are going to go against it no matter what the quote-unquote government or terrorist regime tells them to do.
The IDF of terrorists crossing the yellow line, which is where our soldiers were redeployed to under this agreement that Hamas has violated. The state of Israel will not accept any violations of the ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, and the IDF will respond with force to any violation that endangers the security of our soldiers and its citizens. Now, following the series of attacks in response to Hamas violating the ceasefire and attacking our soldiers, around 9 p.m. Sunday Israel time, the IDF began the renewed enforcement of the ceasefire. We will not only continue to uphold the ceasefire agreement, but we will enforce it. Let it be known and understood. We are still demanding for the bodies of our deceased hostages to be returned by the terror organization Hamas. We know Hamas can return them, and we know that Hamas is aware of where they are located. There are 16 deceased hostages that are required to be released under this first phase of this plan. As Hamas continues to make the excuse they cannot locate them, let's make something very clear. Hamas dragged our hostages into Gaza and either murdered them on October 7th or during captivity. with the sole exception of a soldier taken in 2014. No one misplaces people they kidnapped. Any suggestion that Hamas doesn't know where the hostages are is not just an excuse, it's part of their propaganda. Journalists repeating that line should ask themselves whether they're reporting facts or echoing the narrative of a brutal terrorist organization. I can also confirm at this time, Prime Minister Netanyahu met earlier today with Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, on the developments and updates in the region. Vice President J.D. Vance and his wife, Second Lady Usha Vance, will also be visiting Israel for a few days and will be meeting with the Prime Minister. I'll take a few questions right now.
Now, I'm not really interested in the questions that she's going to answer right there. It's not that long, but we're not going to listen to it because we have our own shit going on here. And I want to present this before we close the show. So I'm pulling this up for us right here, right now. Give me a second. And that shit was loud. All right, here we go. At least you guys didn't have to hear that. All right, let me bring this down before I start it.
Good morning to everybody. Thank you for being here this morning.
Get the audio correct, please.
Morning. For those of you that are keeping track,
there we go.
Day 20 days since the Democrats recklessly shut down the United States government. And the Democrats are making some very costly history here. Don't lose that in all that's happening. This is now the third longest shutdown in history. And when you look at it carefully.
Wow, third largest shutdown in history so far. Real quick, we got Agrillipus. Oh, man, he's saying not feeling great, but wanted to drop in and hit the like button. Hope y'all have a great Monday. Always appreciate you, kind sir. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Hopefully you feel better. We got Hardwire as well, my man. Great to see you. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning so far.
It is now already the longest full shutdown of all time. You had an example in 2018 and you had one back in 1995 that were longer, but they were partial shutdowns because they only affected a part of the federal government. This is everything. And it's also important for us to note, this is the first time in history.
Yes, and I'm totally bummed, by the way, that I missed Hardwire's show. Yes, that does suck. I had company over last night, so super bummed that I missed that.
Any party has had the audacity to shut down the government over a totally clean, nonpartisan continuing resolution. This is a political stunt, and it's the first time it's been done, and it is the most costly, most selfish, most dangerous political stunt in the history of the United States Congress, because as we have stood here day after day after day explaining all the Americans who are being harmed by this nonsense.
Papa Penguin.
And the Senate Democrats have zero shame about this. They don't have any shame at all about the pain that they're inflicting upon hardworking families, upon soldiers and law enforcement officers and veterans and the elderly and the disabled and women, infants, and children. Services to all those categories and paychecks to those folks are being stalled because Democrats are playing games. Today, Leader Thune in the Senate will once again bring the clean, nonpartisan CR to the floor for a vote. They will have another chance. Democrats will have their 12th opportunity to pass the bill. It is the same bill that they themselves...
Yeah, they have declined 11 times, and we heard that on Friday, I believe. Friday morning, we heard him say that it was voted and shot down 11 times, which is crazy.
Supported just 7 months ago, and Chuck Schumer gave impassioned speeches on the floor about how it was the only...
Shit, that's right. We got Beezer in the building. Shout out to my man.
And don't forget, they did it 13 times under the Biden administration. Very similar measures, but not now. Something's changed. Over the weekend, we saw what it was all about. The Democrats made crystal clear that this is about politics. The politics were on full display. The politics, the spectacle, is what the mobs, the crowds, the rallies this week were all about. It was quite ironic, though. The irony was very glaring. They called it the No Kings Rally. But the great irony, of course, that we pointed out over and over was if President Trump was a king, the government would be open. If President Trump was a king, he would have closed the national...
Real quick, we got Dark Souls as well in the chat as well, man. Hopefully you're also enjoying your Monday morning. Great to see you.
Parks in the National Mall, so they couldn't have had the rally out here. By the way, that's what President Obama did during the shutdown in 2013, closed all the parks in the National Mall. Here in Washington, you had Senators Bernie Sanders and Chris Murphy and Cory Booker and others marching in the streets. Now, these are the same senators who voted over and over to shut down the legislative branch and hand the reins to President Trump. They're decrying the situation that they themselves created. This has always been about the spectacle. Chuck Schumer himself joined the spectacle in New York City. And it's interesting to note his activities there. He was standing side by side some of the most radical groups that maybe ever assembled on U.S. soil. They openly advertised as co-sponsors of the event in New York City. The Communist Party USA, the Democrat Socialist of America, the Freedom Socialist Party, the Young Communist League of New York,
Why do we hear somebody typing? Like, I really wish we could shut that part of the microphone up, because there's another hot mic somewhere. We can hear someone typing.
Many others. Do we need any further evidence? They're not hiding this. They're out in the open. They're not shy about it, because this is the core constituency of the modern Democratic Party. These are objective facts. Look at what's happening. Open your eyes. It is exactly why Chuck Schumer is pandering in this whole charade. We've explained from the very beginning, this shutdown is about one thing and one thing alone: Chuck Schumer's political survival. Now, I noted on Friday, the lead organizer of the rallies this weekend issued an open threat to Democrats. Quote, "The cavalry is coming in on October 18th, and they're either going to be celebrating with you, or they're going to be calling for new leadership." Now, that's a direct threat.
See, now that I've said something, you guys can't fucking stop hearing it, huh?
Chuck Schumer, and he heard the message. And so
What's up, Brother Slim? Good morning.
And that's why neither of them were here doing their jobs. Instead, they were out in New York and California. They were catering to the same radical base that is just days away from electing an open Marxist as mayor of New York City. And now that Chuck Schumer has had his spectacle, he's had his big protest against America, this is our plea. We're asking, and I think everybody in this room and everybody watching, listening to our voices this morning should be hoping that he is finally now ready to go to work and end this.
Shit. All right. We'll see you, Tiffany and Lee. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Great to see you guys in the chat. And thank Lee as well again for the Cash App. Always appreciate it.
Shutdown and stop inflicting pain on the American people. Republicans have been working. We are ready. We've been doing this. It's been over a month now. We passed our responsible short-term solution to keep the government open while we just simply finish our work to fund the government openly and transparently, and Republicans are completely united on that front. On the other side, Democrats can't even agree amongst themselves. You got different subgroups among them. You've got a few reasonable Democrats who know shutdowns hurt the people, and they've already voted for our bill. They want to keep the government open. Then you've got others desperate to prop up the failures of Obamacare with no reforms whatsoever to make the program more affordable. That's what we're fighting for. And you've got AOC calling for her own negotiations on live TV. And you've got Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries still unable to articulate what it is they need to reopen the government. It illustrates the point once again. This was never about a solution. It was about creating an issue.
Make sure you guys vote in the chat. I ask you guys a question. How much longer will the government shutdown last? So meaning from this point going forward. And 23% of you guys so far have said 1 week. 28% of you guys have said 2 weeks. 28% of you guys said 1 month. And 21% said 2+ months. Wow. Interesting. Or 2 months plus, meaning.
Now that Democrats have had their protest and publicity stunts, I just pray that they come to their senses and end this shutdown and reopen the government this week. Republicans are waiting, the American people are waiting, and we are ready to act. As evidence of just how united Republicans are in this fight, I've asked two of our prominent leaders in the House Republican Conference. I've got House Freedom Caucus Chairman Andy Harris.
Well, for context there, two-wheeled Jesus, it's been shut down for 20 days.
Dr. Harris is also an appropriator, and House Freedom Caucus Policy Chair Chip Roy of Texas. I'll turn it over to Dr. Harris first.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Earlier this month, the House Freedom Caucus made history by hosting our first press call held with the Speaker. And
damn, that motherfucker is tall, huh? And so is this guy.
Today, we're doing it again, standing shoulder to shoulder at a full leadership press conference as part of the United Republican Front against this Democrat-led shutdown. On the Sunday morning shows yesterday, the Democrats tried once again, unconvincingly, to say that they are not to be blamed for the shutdown. But the reason that the government remains shut down is becoming crystal clear to Americans. It's because Senate Democrats have chosen to pander to their radical base instead of doing their job for the American people. Senate Democrats have had the opportunity to vote 11 times for the House-passed bill that pays our troops, pays our law enforcement, and pays our air traffic controllers now, and would immediately reopen the government. Instead, they've sided with the same radical activists who filled the streets this weekend chanting "No Kings" at rallies backed by the Communist Party USA and socialists.
We'll see on the flip side, Naomi. Always appreciate you, and thank you for always helping the chat, being a W moderator. Appreciate it.
The same people who claim to hate power while demanding more control over your life. The question before us now is simple. Will at least 5 Senate Democrats relent and break from their party's left-wing fringe and vote to reopen the government today? Let's also be honest about what the Democrats are really fighting for. They're demanding taxpayer-funded health care for illegal immigrants. They want to eliminate work requirements for welfare for able-bodied adults who could work but choose not to. And they're defending hundreds of billions of dollars in continued corporate welfare for big, profitable health insurance companies that have already made a fortune off Obamacare with the Biden bonuses that the Democrats scheduled to expire at the end of this year. House Republicans have already done their job. The only thing standing between America and a reopened government is a handful of Senate Democrats too afraid of their activist base to do the right thing. But it's time for those 5 Senate Democrats to show some courage, stand against their leadership, but with hard-working Americans, and vote to reopen the government. I want to close by thanking Speaker Johnson for his leadership in standing firm against the radical left's unreasonable demands and for standing with the American people. Thank you, and I'll turn this over to Congressman Chip Roy.
Thanks, Andy, and I want to thank the Speaker and the leadership team and the President for their leadership during these last several weeks. I'd say it's good to see you, but I mean, honestly, I'd rather be in Texas. But I'm happy to be here today with these guys. No one disputes one obvious fact. It is Democrats who have chosen not to fund government. Can we at least establish that truth, right? It is, in fact, the truth. And the question is why? And you saw it on Saturday. It was basically for a political rally for cover for Chuck Schumer, who's in his own political battle in New York. That's the truth. And the irony of this is this No Kings rally. What are we actually talking about? I mean, it wasn't President Trump, but Democrats who tried to...
I do not blame you whatsoever, Steve, at all.
...to make us take a shot or lose our job. It wasn't President Trump, but Democrats who were burning our cities to the ground in 2020 and attacking police officers. It wasn't President Trump, but it was Democrats who want to push boys into girls' locker rooms, who want to force surgeries upon children. It wasn't President Trump, but Democrats who pushed fraudulent mail-in ballots in 2020 and left the elections in question. And then when Americans dared to question that stuff, they sought to jail the American people. They weaponized the government against the American people. And now they want to turn around and say they're going to have a No Kings rally? This is the dying breath of a bankrupt party, in my humble opinion. All too happy to shut down the government and then have a Chicago teacher, walk around with this symbol against her neck. Somebody tell me how that's appropriate.
Yeah, that is true. That did happen.
Where are the Democrats that
There are always going to be super retards amongst retards
are crying out about how horrific that was? And by the way, where are the Democrats who are calling out the Attorney General in Virginia for calling on the death of children of a political opponent? Where is Abigail Spanberger, one of our former colleagues running for governor of Virginia? Do they not have the courage to call out fellow Democrats for that absurdity? The truth is we have a president. We don't have a king. We have a president who loves our country, who rightly said yesterday that he's working.
Yo, Ghost, survival skills. He says Portland is over $4 billion in the hole due to the same thing. Holy shit. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning. Great to see you in
his
the
ass
chat.
off to make this country great. He is correct. Brokering peace deals in the Middle East, rebuilding our military, rooting out DEI and critical race theory, declaring cartels as terrorist organizations, focusing on Antifa, defunding the World Health Organization, getting us out of UNRWA, making sure that we target the Southern Poverty Law Center, who are, going after people like our friends at the Family Research Council, or ultimately Charlie Kirk. Securing the border, passing the Lake and Riley Act. These are the things the American people want us to do, not shutting down the government for political rallies. And the truth is, the Marxists, the radicals, and the Islamists, the Democratic Party promoted this weekend. They cannot handle the truth.
See, and you guys have been hearing me say this for a long time now. I look at the left the exact same, the radical left especially, the radical left. I look at the exact same way as Islam. And their mindset and everything to do with that kind of ideology.
The truth is that there is a king, and that king is Jesus. And the president has been willing to say it. His administration has been willing to say it. And Charlie Kirk was willing to say it, and he got killed for it. Democrats are using this ridiculous political exercise to hold hostage the government of the American people, pretending it's about health care. Meanwhile, it is Democrats who have been holding the American people hostage to an unconscionably broken health care system that they themselves created. We're saying no more. We're the party that stands.
What's up, Dragon Classy? My man. Always, my man. I'm thinking of Ghost Eagle in my head because I'm just connecting the dots that Ghost Survival Skills is Ghost Eagle. And then we got Dragon Classy in the chat. Great to see you in the chat.
Standing up for hardworking Americans who can't afford health care, who can't afford insurance. We're not for giving more money to the insurance companies. We're not for a $400 billion blank check to big corporate America and corporate welfare, like my friend from Maryland said. We're not for health care for illegal aliens, but for standing up for American citizens to be able to afford health care, to carry forward the president's good policies, like short-term limited duration plans and other ways that people can actually go and afford health care. We're for law and order. We're not for hate-filled lawlessness. We're for common sense, not radical.
What's up, Jay? Good morning to you as well. Happy Monday.
Without parental consent to say a boy can be a girl. We're for the message of hope. Hope born in the freedom of those who fought to give it to us through their blood and also through the blood of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Republicans are working to make America great again. Democrats have been trying to run out the clock. And for Hakeem and Chuck, their time is up. Turn it over to Steve.
Thank you, Chip.
Wrap it up, gentlemen.
Well, you can see Republicans are united strongly in working to open the government back up. We all voted to prevent a government shutdown, and that bill went through the House weeks ago on almost exclusively a party line vote. And since then, for weeks and weeks, that bill has been in the Senate.
It's been stuck in the Senate, correct.
Where Democrats, led by Chuck Schumer, consistently have voted to shut the government down. And we've said all this is about is Chuck Schumer trying to appease his most radical base, the most far-left elements of the Democrat Party, the people who have taken over the Democrat Party. Frankly, they've held Chuck Schumer hostage, and so now Chuck Schumer is holding the American people hostage. And this weekend, we got to see on display what that Hate America rally we've been talking about was really all about. And you could see some of the signs. These are just a few. But over and over again, you could see signs like 8647. I think everybody knows what that's about. Multiple signs like that advocating for the death of our president. And where are the Chuck Schumers of the world calling that out? They didn't call it out. They actually went and celebrated with those people that are advocating for the murder of President Trump and other Republicans. It's insanity. Yet that's where the Democrat Party in Washington has gone. Most Democrats around the country don't buy into that far-left radical socialist base that Chuck Schumer's catering to. And that's why so many are walking away from that party. But in the meantime, that's who is controlling the Democrat Party here in the United States Senate and in Congress. And that's why we continue to be at this stalemate. Not because there's some ability for us to come together and find a common ground. We've been trying. We had a provision in the working families tax cut that would have lowered premiums for families, healthcare premiums, by 11%. It was scored by the Congressional Budget Office to do that. 11% reduction in premiums for families. And you might ask, well, why is that not law of the land? Because it passed the House. Well, when it got over to the Senate, it was Senate Democrats who went to the parliamentarian and fought to get that provision removed because they don't care about lowering premiums for families. They really don't, and they showed it over and over again. What do they care about? They care about catering to the most radical elements of their base. You could see the sponsors, and it's been mentioned before, the Communist Party of America, the Socialist Party. Well, that's who's taken over the Democrat Party.
Yes, and we all know that, though.
It's not who America is.
You're just kind of reiterating shit we already know.
America's not a socialist nation. It's surely not a communist nation. But the Democrat Party here in Washington is trying to pull the country down that rat hole. We've seen it over and over.
13 times under the Biden administration. 11 times now, Democrats.
Hold on. I do want to hear what he says in the very opening here.
As the speaker said, we're now on day 20 of the Democrats' shutdown.
You too, Dragon.
For everyone
Posse.
tuning
Always
in,
appreciate you.
Here's a quick review of everything that's happened in the last 3 weeks. Republicans did our jobs. We passed a clean, nonpartisan government funding bill that Democrats supported just 6 months ago and passed 13 times under the Biden administration. 11 times now, Democrats have refused to pass our clean CR, shutting the government down in the process and forcing Americans to pay the price. In order to simply turn the lights back on, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries have demanded $1.5 trillion in new spending for things like taxpayer-funded health care for illegals and cutting $50 billion from our rural health care fund.
It's actually pretty radical that they can do that. It's crazy.
Taking the American people hostage while pointing fingers at us for refusing to concede to their absurd wish list of demands. But Republicans have been clear. We will not negotiate under hostage conditions, nor will we pay a ransom. The Democrats' position is totally unreasonable. It's hypocritical, and it's pure partisan politics in a desperate attempt to score points with the radical, pro-terrorist wing of their party. Now that their Hate America rally is over, I hope that at least 5 Senate Democrats will finally do the right and responsible thing by breaking ranks with Chuck Schumer, passing our clean CR, and reopening the government. If they continue to refuse, we're going to...
Yo, we got Big Lock Joker in the building. Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning as well as we are.
Continue to hold them to account. And I hope members of the media in this room are going to do the same. With that, I turn it back to our speaker, Mike Johnson.
We be fucked.
Okay, a few questions. Chad, go ahead. Chad.
We understand concerns about air traffic control. We understand that they're going to lay off workers at the they're going to lay off workers at the Nuclear Security Administration. What keeps you up at night about what parts of this federal government are not up?
Well, those are 2 good examples. The question is, when the administration is required to triage federal spending, they have to look and evaluate what are the most essential and what are the less essential functions of the federal government. And they look at policy, personnel, and all these offices. But the things that concern me the most are TSA, for example. I mean, you're right. We are shorthanded already with air traffic controllers, with TSA agents, keeping the airports safe and our flights safe. We cannot afford this nonsense. And I think the Democrats in their heart of hearts know that. When you're talking about nuclear deterrence, Our former colleague Brandon Williams was a congressman from New York, and now he's now been confirmed, and he's one of the people in charge of nuclear deterrence for the United States. He's a former officer on a nuclear submarine. And he brings a lot of experience to that job, and he came to sit down with me a few days ago, end of last week, and he said, "I just want to articulate for you how serious this is in terms of national defense." And we didn't get into the classified parts there. We weren't in the skiff, but suffice it to say that every day that the government is shut down, it is a danger to the American people. We're in a nuclear arms race with adversaries right now. It can't be any more serious than this. China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, you've seen what they're up to. America is the last great superpower on the planet, but we have to maintain that status. And if
we can't be a superpower if our government can't even fucking get it together. You know what I mean?
We get behind on funding or personnel or any of these projects that we're involved in that are at a level that we can't talk about in here, it's very serious. So you have every function of the federal government that is being adversely affected. Of course, it's troops. We got the troops paid, thankfully, in the middle of this month because the president did heroic work. They found money within DOD that they could use on a temporary basis, but that money is going to be exhausted. You can't have the troops unpaid. You can't have Border Patrol agents unpaid. They've got
of course, I agree with all of that.
Defend the country, and this is not a game. And that's why you see us so frustrated up here every day. Again, I'm going to reiterate what we said earlier. This is the first time in history that we've been in this situation. There has never been a party that shut down the entire government or a party that shut down, over a clean CR for nothing but political partisan purposes. Their rally illustrated exactly what we've been saying for the last 20 days. This is about politics, and it's disgusting. Yes, sir.
Speaker Johnson, you say that the Democrats had a Hate America rally, but what does it say that the President of the United States over the weekend released a video of him pooping on the American people?
That was a great video, by the way. If you guys saw that shit, that was funny.
The president uses social media to make a point. You can argue he's probably the most effective person who's ever used social media for that. He is.
I appreciate
he is using
that, Steve.
satire
Thank you for that.
to make a point. He is not calling for the murder of his political opponents, and that's what these people are doing. I mean, they're in one of these photos. I think there's a picture of the president hanging in effigy by a noose on one of these. The one on the far end. I mean, it's unconscionable.
I know you're not the first one that has said that, by the way, Joker. Yes, I have my playback speed always sped up on these people that speak, and most of the time, I don't know if I've gotten like that whole what do they call it? Not Ritalin brain. They call it some bullshit. Anyways, Adderall, something like that, right? No, you're not on crack. You're not on crank. You're not on any of that shit. We just speeding it up. I can't stand listening to these people at standard speed anymore. And I got a lot of shit that I try to condense into a single hour, And today we're doing a special. We're over already by 17 minutes.
America is built on the idea of free speech. You have the right to protest. Of course, we jealously guard that. I mean, Chip and I are attorneys. We've defended that right in the courts. But what they're doing right now is different. They are trying to incite violence. It's not funny. You don't mock a president who has already had 2 failed assassination attempts on his life. This is not a game. And the idea that communists would be supporting this is unconscionable to us. Look, when we give tours of the House chamber and we bring in constituents and we point out all the historical facts and images around the building, I always start with "In God We Trust," which of course is right above the rostrum of the speaker's podium. And if you look in the visitor's guide to the House chamber, it says on page 14, when was that put there? Well, it's put there in the early 60s, 1961, as I recall, and it says in the guide that it was put there. Congress voted to put that there as a rebuke to the Cold War era Soviets. Why? Because their philosophy, that's what it says, a rebuke to their philosophy. Their philosophy was Marxism. Marxism begins with the premise that there is no God. It is antithetical to who we are as Americans.
Yes, that is very true.
The Declaration of Independence says we're created by God and he's the one that gave us our rights. It is in God whom we trust. That is the national motto. That's what America's built on. What those people are advocating for is at its essence un-American. And when they go the next step and they call for violence on political officials in an environment that is already a heightened threat environment, it's dangerous stuff. They had the right to do it. Congratulations, they didn't burn any buildings down. That's a big achievement for the left to have some kind of gathering where they don't have a looting and riots and burn a building down. There was, I think, some in Portland, they threw bottles and bricks and stuff at the ICE facility because that's what they do for fun now out there. But, they had a free speech event. Congratulations. But you need to look past that and look at what it is they're advocating for openly, and it's really scary stuff. Yes, ma'am. Second row. Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're not going to go into the last question there because I'm uninterested. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for your guys' contributions to the show, whether it's engaging in the chat, hitting that like button on the way in or out, doesn't matter. Always appreciate it that you guys did it. Stick around. We're going to be rating our buddy Rob. Stick around for that. He's a great political commentator. Make sure you let him know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. And hopefully we'll see you guys here. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Not hopefully. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for more of the World's Menace as we continue down our truth-seeking adventure. You know what I mean? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much. We'll see you guys tomorrow for more of the World's Menace. Much love, honor, respect to everybody, and God bless.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken, he rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels, here's battle.